Welcome to BikeBeat. We're taking a closer look at the 2026 CFMoto 700CL ADV, a bike that's stirring up the mid-weight adventure scene by blending scrambler style, everyday comfort, and genuine off-road intent. From its twin-cylinder heart to its rugged frame and clever electronics, this motorcycle feels like CFMoto's most refined attempt yet to build a bridge between city streets and dirt trails. Let's find out whether it really delivers. When you first see the 700CL ADV in person, it instantly catches your eye. The proportions are muscular but not overdone. There's a raised front fender that screams adventure, wire-spoke wheels wrapped in semi-knobby Pirelli Scorpion Rally STR tires, and a stance that sits a little taller than the regular 700CL heritage. Everything about it suggests a bike that's meant to get dirty but still look good parked outside a cafe. You can tell that CFMoto wanted this bike to appeal to both the weekend explorer and the urban rider who just loves the rugged aesthetic. The seat height sits around 830 mm, tall enough to give you commanding visibility but still accessible for most riders. The ergonomics are upright, with handlebars moved up and slightly back compared to the heritage model, creating a relaxed triangle between seat, pegs, and grips. The seat itself is flatter and more spacious, designed to allow easy weight shifts when you stand on the pegs or move around in corners. Once you get going, the character of the engine immediately stands out. The heart of the ADV is CFMoto's proven 693 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled parallel twin, the same base engine that powers other models in the lineup but tuned here for smoother mid-range performance. It produces roughly 70 horsepower and around 60 Nm of torque. On paper those numbers might not sound earth-shaking, but on the road the delivery is lively and surprisingly refined. Throttle response is crisp thanks to ride-by-wire technology, and the power builds progressively rather than in a sudden rush. You can trundle through traffic in third gear or open it up on a mountain road and it responds with enthusiasm. It's the kind of engine that feels flexible, the type you can live with day in and day out. The 6-speed gearbox is well spaced, and the slipper clutch smooths out downshifts when you're riding aggressively or tackling a steep descent off-road. CFMoto's fueling has improved noticeably over the years, and this new ADV version feels clean and predictable even at low RPM. There's enough punch for spirited riding without overwhelming you with power. Cruising speeds around 100 km/h are effortless, and vibration is minimal for a twin of this size. The chassis plays a big role in how composed this bike feels. The frame is a steel tube design mated to an aluminum swing arm, a combination that gives both strength and lightness. Suspension duties are handled by KYB components at both ends, fully adjustable 41mm inverted forks up front and a rear monoshock that's adjustable for preload and rebound. Travel is generous at around 150mm, which helps soak up rough surfaces without losing that connected road feel. On twisty asphalt, the ADV feels stable and confident. On gravel or patchy tarmac, it maintains composure without bouncing around. The extra ground clearance, about 10mm more than the standard CLX, gives you that little margin you need when trails get rocky or uneven. One of the highlights is the braking system. J.1 supplies the components here, with a single 300mm disc at the front and a 260mm disc at the rear, both with ABS. Importantly, the rear ABS can be deactivated in off-road mode, letting you slide the rear wheel when you need to pivot or manage traction on loose terrain. That's a thoughtful feature not always found in bikes of this price range. Speaking of electronics, the ADV packs a smart but not overcomplicated suite. You get two ride modes, street and off-road. Street mode gives a sharper throttle and full ABS intervention, while off-road softens the throttle response and allows you to turn off the rear ABS. Cruise control comes standard and works smoothly for longer rides. The bike also includes CFMoto's T-Box system, which is a built-in 4G telematics unit paired with a 6-axis sensor. It connects to the CFMoto Ride app, letting you monitor the bike's location, mileage, and service info, or even track rides in real time. That's a feature that really sets it apart in this class, showing how far CFMoto has come in integrating connectivity into its lineup. The lighting is another premium touch. The headlight is a full LED adaptive unit that automatically adjusts brightness based on ambient conditions. The indicators are self-canceling LEDs, and the taillight design follows that signature X motif found across the CLX family. Altogether, the bike has a very cohesive design, modern but still carrying hints of retro scrambler DNA. Out on the road, the the 700CLX ADV feels balanced and forgiving. The upright riding position and wide bars give you leverage in tight corners, and the suspension provides that plush, slightly floating feeling without wallowing. You can ride over rough roads, potholes, or gravel stretches without feeling unsettled. The 18-inch front and 17-inch rear wheels strike a nice balance between agility and stability, making it nimble enough in traffic yet confident at speed. Push it hard and you'll find that the bike's limits are higher than you might expect. The Pirelli Scorpion Rally tires offer more grip on pavement than their tread pattern suggests, and they bite surprisingly well on loose dirt or packed gravel. In moderate off-road conditions, the bike feels genuinely capable. It's not built to chase rally machines through sand dunes, but it can definitely handle forest roads, trails, and broken tarmac with ease. The suspension travel and standing ergonomics make it easy to maneuver while standing on the pegs. You can feel the weight at just over 200 kilograms wet. It's not a featherweight, but it's manageable once you're moving. The balance point is well tuned, and the steering remains light even at low speeds. Where the bike begins to show its limitations is in really rough terrain or deep mud. The lack of a large fuel tank, just about 13 liters, also means range is somewhat limited compared to larger adventure machines. Still, for riders who mix city use with occasional adventures, that's a reasonable compromise. Wind protection is modest since there's only a small flyscreen, so at highway speeds you'll feel some wind pressure on your chest, but that's part of its scrambler charm. The build quality feels solid, the paint finish is deep, and the detailing, from the machine side panels to the sculpted tank, gives it a premium impression that belies its price tag. And that's the real kicker. The 2026 CFMoto 700CLX ADV is expected to retail around $12,000 to $12,500 depending on the market. In Australia, previous versions were offered for just over $12,000 right away. That makes it a seriously attractive option for riders who want adventure looks and functionality without paying premium European prices. When you line it up against competitors like the Yamaha Tenere 700, Triumph Scrambler 900, or Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled, the CFMoto comes in thousands cheaper while offering a comparable mix of features. Sure, it lacks some of the extreme refinement or brand prestige of the big names, but it's closing the gap fast. On the road, it feels mature, not like a budget knockoff. And for newer riders stepping into the adventure category, that accessibility and value make a strong argument. There are of course some trade-offs. The smaller fuel tank limits range, the high seat may be challenging for shorter riders, and service network strength still depends heavily on where you live. But if you have a solid local dealer, those concerns shrink. So, if you're looking for an adventure-ready scrambler that won't break the bank and offers real-world usability, this one deserves a serious test ride. The 2026 700CLX ADV is proof that CFMoto is no longer the underdog, it's a brand ready to stand toe-to-toe with the established names. This has been BikeBeat, thanks for watching, ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.